Welcome to HeKate's Crossing. Right, what I want to do is look at deck delights and deterrents. This is a VR to Julie from Peekaboorose and Sunset Borrow, I think I'd seen it on, and I saw Strength Reversed, and there's a few other people that have done this VR anyway. So deck delights and deterrents. So what I want to speak about is the reason why I might pick a deck and what seems important to me and any deterrents. And to be honest, there are a couple of things that are quite important, and for me it's just the artwork. Does the artwork appeal? And then in some cases, because I live in New Zealand, some of the independent decks can get extremely expensive by the time they come to New Zealand, you know, by the time we exchange it to New Zealand currency, New Zealand dollars, and then we add the shipping on top of that. I mean, when you have a deck that is 90 American, 90 US dollar, and you put that into New Zealand dollars, and you're getting close to, with shipping, nearly a $200 deck, and so that becomes a little extreme in regards to a New Zealand deck. Now, don't worry about what type of box the deck comes in, because if it doesn't come in a box that's suitable, that's good hardcover box, I'm quite happy to put the deck into a bag, either a bag that becomes specifically for the deck, or it could be in a little organza bag, or I might buy something to put a deck in, little bags that I've actually put decks in. So to me, the box is not really important. I'm quite gentle with the card stock generally, so that to me is also not a problem because of the way that I shuffle, just very gently. I'm not a rough shuffler or anything like that. I'm actually very gentle with my cards. So again, cardstock hugely is not always a factor for me in lots of ways. To me, it is about the artwork. What appeals in that moment when I'm thinking about a theme of a deck? Like a Tarot de Marseille, I absolutely love the collection I have. This is the ancient Italian Tarot de Marseille, which I love the colours, but I also love the Spanish tarot. I've got a Claude, sorry, not a Claude, I have got a Claude Bertel, which is a low Scarabeo deck, but I also have a Nicholas Conver, which was a low Scarabeo, which was also a limited edition, so I love that type of deck as well. I think I like it for the historic aspects in regards to the different types of decks. There's still some more I'd like to add to my collection. I do have this Visconti Sforza. This was done in a large box with a hardcover book and a large cover book, but it's also got a purple cloth, and this is actually called the Golden Tarot, even though this is a Visconti Sforza. Now, what I like is the ancient history behind the creation of this deck, not this actual deck itself, but the ancient creation and what it was about, the history behind it. That's what fascinates me in regards to choosing a tarot deck in this way. So when we look at Tarot de Marseille, there's also, like I said, there's the Spanish tarot, there's all the different Tarot de Marseille there are, but there's also the one JJ Swiss, which I wouldn't mind getting. I do have the Spanish tarot, as I said. So yeah, I think to me, it's the history behind the tarot that fascinates me, which is one reason why I do want to get the Solar Booster when I get a chance. But again, it's just opportunities coming. It's what's in my budget. There's so many amazing decks coming out that I'm feeling like, yeah, I could really use that deck. I really like it. I like the colours. I like the artwork. That could be really important for me. Because, like, one thing that appealed to me was the Starman Tarot. Now, why did I pick up the Starman Tarot? Because I was a child of the 70s, 80s, you know, and so David Bowie really appealed to me. But what I love about this deck that David D'Angelis actually did was the colour he's used, and the sacred geometry, the energy, the vibration. This is what I love about this deck. I think this deck really holds a lot within it. So that's a brightly coloured deck that I absolutely adore. Now, another deck that really appealed to me, and it is quite different, is the Coffee Tarot. Now, the reason why I love this is because I saw this deck come from its creation, from when it first started, when Ron, Janet's husband, first started creating the imagery. I saw this imagery coming to life, and this really appealed to me. Now, this is a deck that is slightly different. It is not everyday, even though it's Rider-Waite-Smith meanings, is based on Rider-Waite-Smith. It is quite different in the way that it's, because it's all done about the coffee, you know, the coffee bean, and the elements is all part of it as well. So you've got the imagery is quite different here. You've got the Queen of Air, so it's in this nicely shaped cup. So it is quite different in regards to keywords, imagery, quite modern in its imagery. So again, it's different. The artwork appeals to me. The history behind the creation of the deck, I saw it being created. So that was an appeal to me. So I can't really say there's any one style. As you can see, the differences between the ancient decks that I did, the very brightly coloured, the modern deck, and then you've got very abstract art, or art that's quite bright and colourful. It's quite different, like the Mary L is another deck that really attracted me, but from an esoteric sort of appeal. It looks very, you know, it's very different, it's very deep. Again, it's a deck that really appealed to me. So we look at, now one big thing is, because I'm in New Zealand, I wanted to look at decks that were New Zealand based, and I came across this one here by Roxana Paul. So again, that appealed to me because of it being New Zealand, being local, being, and I want to explore this a little bit further in my, in what I want to do. And I've got a couple of other New Zealand decks that I also love, but are also very, very different. Now, when I first started tarot, I started with the Native American tarot, and this is still one of my favorites. Now, what I love about it is the history, the stories, the teachings. That's what draw me in. So, to me, there is no one, as you can see, there's no one set art style. There's no one deck type of cards. Now, the other deck, I've been looking at different Japanese decks, but this, for some reason, appealed to me. This is by Bobby Alexander. He does a lot of other decks, but this is vintage Japanese. Now, this is artwork that was created a long time ago. This is vintage artwork, Japanese style, and he fitted it into a tarot deck, and I love it. I absolutely love that sort of ancient sort of feeling to it, but with a modern, I don't know, just something about it. It has got that sort of ancient sort of look to it. There's Japanese artwork. It has this sort of history behind it, which I want to explore again a bit more about it. Now, another deck that is quite different, you've got the Santa Muerte Tarot, again, it's a cultural aspect. I just want to explore, I want to enjoy, I just like the artwork. I love the way the artist has portrayed the imagery. I just see, and it's so different. There's nothing similar in my collection, so it just makes it that uniqueness. I think that's what I find drawn to, even though it's quite a popular deck, it is around. Another deck that I really love is the Silver Witchcraft Tarot. Now I know there's lots of different witchcraft, sort of witchy type tarot decks, but this one really appealed to me. The simplicity, the quick messages I get from it, just really lovely to read with. So you can see from the artwork, it is just an amazing deck. I just love it. Now, another deck that I quite enjoy reading for really quick, decluttered messages. Okay, as you can see, this is only a very small selection of decks that I have, and I'm not going to go into a huge amount of my decks, otherwise we'll be here forever as we look at, you know, what do I appreciate, you know. And for me, the only thing that really deters me from buying a deck is a price in some respects. If I feel like I'm just not prepared to pay a price for a certain deck, maybe it doesn't really appeal to me in that way. Now, another deck I'm really appreciative of is actually the Seraphina's Modern Tarot. Okay, now this is the back of the deck. It's got a little Pegasus on the back, okay, as you can see. But it's very modern, decluttered. She has the astrological signs at the bottom. She's got number. You've got the element. So you've got the card symbol as well. So I think this is a really cool, sort of really quick modern deck, which sort of teenagers or sort of the young adults that seem to really appreciate. But also I like the sort of simplicity and the clarity I get from the readings in here. It's quite, it really sort of lends itself to sort of everyday activities and things like that. So to me, another great deck. So like I said, all the decks in my collection, it is about the artwork. What does appeal to me? What speaks to me? It doesn't matter about the box. It does not matter about guidebooks, even though some of the, you know, the guidebooks are great when you've got a deck like the Muriel Tarot or even the Santa Muerte Tarot, which needs a little bit of depth, the Native American Tarot. Those cultural decks really need a little bit of history behind it. I think those guidebooks are really important, and I love that. But when I'm just doing an everyday sort of tarot deck, it doesn't really need a guidebook in such a way. A little white book is fine. I love see again, I'm not really a Rider-Waite fan, huge fan, but I have started to sort of get back into it a little bit. And I love Tarot Oracle. I've just received this, of course, and his artwork. Again, it's the artwork that appeals to me. The colours, the vibrancy, as you can see, I'm not a huge black and white deck fan, but I do like Travis McHenry's Angel Tarot, for those that haven't seen it. So a lot of it is just about the artwork that appeals at the time. I love the box. It's a two-piece box, so it's great for storage. That's cool. But if I didn't have a box that was suitable, I would find a bag. I'm lucky. My daughter, one of my daughters has made a few bags for me. I've made a couple of bags myself. The shuffles beautifully, so I'm not worried about decks. As you can see, I can shuffle them quite easily. I'm not really a black and white sort of person. There's got a little bit of gold in it, which is quite cool. But I like the angel aspect of it, and I like that it's a little bit unique. You've got two aspects to the readings, whether you're deciding to use it as an angel deck or as a tarot. I like that combination. So I like the way this deck works for me. It's not too frilly. It's quite simple and clear. but yet other times, so I think a lot of it is about my mood, what mood I'm in, how do I feel, what seems important to the reading, you know, to the question the client asked, the spread that I've used. So really there is no specific when it comes to reading with tarot, with what appeals to me. My deck moods change depending on what oracle deck I've got. I'll look at it and think, okay, that's going to go with Ambica Waters' oracle deck. That's going to go with the Santa Muerte oracle deck. The vintage Japanese, I've got the Fox. I bought the Foxfire oracle. So it really varies with what mood I'm in. The Silver Witchcraft, I've found lots of oracle decks that'll actually go with. Native American Tarot will go with different Native American oracle, animal oracle. The New Zealand Tarot deck will go with a variety of New Zealand oracle decks. So that's all part of what delights and what deters. It's the artwork. It's how I'm going to feel I'm going to work with it. What oracle deck can I work with? How does it read for me personally? I don't feel there's any one thing that actually deters me in any particular thing. The only thing that's going to stop me from actually buying a deck is if I don't appreciate the artwork, whatever that is, for some reason, and whether the price is going to be a little bit, is going to make the deck more likely close to 150 to 200 New Zealand dollars, then it becomes a little bit like, sort of like, you know, 120 could be my limit, maybe, in New Zealand dollars. And I know that sounds expensive to you guys, but that's what it is when it comes to buying a deck and then the shipping as well. You know, it does become quite expensive, so I've had to really limit the price of decks that I bring into New Zealand with Kickstarters, with Etsy, Game Crafter, of course with Make Playing Cards. All those things are all part of the, I have to be careful about my limit when it comes to buying different decks. So that's it from me, from Deck Delights and Deterrents. Take care and blessed be.